Apollo missions were designed to splash down in view of their prime recovery carrier, but there were also secondary landing zones and contingency landing zones in case the crew had to land off target because something went wrong or something changed. Any eventuality, there would be a crew nearby. Depending on where they splashed down, NASA reasoned the longest a crew would have to wait in the spacecraft to be recovered was 2 days, which meant they needed to be able to stay in the spacecraft at sea over 2 days. And how do you make sure they can do that? You stick 3 guys in it, you put it in the water, and you leave them there for 2 days. That's what happened in 1967. Jim Lovell, Stu Roosa, and Charlie Duke, 3 astronauts that went on to fly lunar missions, were the 3 men in the spacecraft for a very notable seaworthiness test. They strapped into a boilerplate Apollo spacecraft and were dunked into the Gulf of Mexico. They started upside down in the stable 2 position, then inflated the airbags, which popped them up into the stable 1 position, and then they sat there in like 5-foot swells for 2 days, just talking to the recovery carrier, which was nearby in case anything went wrong, but they just kind of had to wait it out. So I asked Jim Lovell about this test once, the only time I met him like 10 years ago. And I asked him, how was that test? And Jim Lovell was a Navy guy. And I love this because he looks at me and first of all, he's like, why do you know about that? And I'm like, well, I read the report. And he's like, yeah, then, I was a Navy guy. That thing was no fucking boat. I just thought, yeah, that sounds about right. It was seaworthy, though.